up, see all of these longtime players stepping down. They've the passion isn't there anymore. They feel like there's a better peak player to hit them. But to see Odd1 come back into that after being one of those longtime players is great, especially for fans of TSM and for the team.
Yeah, and I mean, every lane in this matchup has so much story behind it as well. I mean, it's obviously the Odd1 Meteos, kind of old versus new guard in North America.
Yep.
Dyrus, we just heard Doublelift talking about how Nyen talks about balls and Dyrus, how Dyrus has always been strong, but sometimes he's stagnant. Maybe he hasn't improved his game too much. Whereas Balls, he may be the MVP this week. He has played 2 amazing games thus far, and if he can beat TSM, it's going to be impressive.
The impact these top laners have is almost more than any other team, and they do it so well. Kha'Zix, Kassadin being banned out quick and directed bans to start off.
Yeah, Cloud9 always quick with the ban finger.
They know what they want.
Kassadin and Olaf right there. A little surprised on the Olaf ban. Odd1 hasn't been playing too much of that so far in the LCS.
Just back in week 1. Hasn't touched it since.
Exactly, just the one victory.
Where can they go with this? One more ban to come out for Cloud9. Lemonation on your screen. He is the man with the book in hand, calling the shots for the picks and bans.
And there's usually not too many surprises here once you're through the picks and bans. Obviously, the Elise ban away makes the jungle a little bit interesting. If they really wanted to attack Meteos, you would think that they would go with like a Vi pick, but Meteos has played so well on Lee Sin that it now becomes about the mid lane.
This
makes sense.
This was a LeBlanc-free zone, I thought.
Yeah, where's the LeBlanc? No one, we didn't think Hai or Bjergsen would get to play that so far. 2 wins on LeBlanc for Hai. Bjergsen has played LeBlanc, I believe, once, but just destroyed on it, so he's never gotten the chance to play it again. It had been banned 3 times against TSM so far. It's a pretty bold first pick here. Hai has played many different champions in the LCS here. I think he has an answer for this. I mean, I think back to the Week 1 matchup where Cloud9 basically wanted TSM to pick Nunu. This was their strategy going into the game. Odd1 did, and then they picked Teemo instead to overcome their map control. Maybe here they wanted Bjergsen to pick LeBlanc, and then they could beat them with a very resilient composition where no one could get bursted down. Maybe very heavy pushing in the mid lane. I'm not sure. They need to show that they have a plan.
That comp with Nunu was also Dyrus on Nasus. It did not work out for them. Their plan seems to be straight to the heart of whatever TSM has. They're Renekton and Leona.
Balls' Renekton has been the scariest one I've seen in North America. Lemonation also had a very good game against Costa on Leona. Lots of initiation and just tankiness right off the bat for them.
Very nice pick up there. Odd1's Vi. Bjergsen is going to take Caitlyn for Wild Turtle. Safe picks there.
Yeah, and what's strange about this champion select is Cloud9 are usually the ones to pick something immediately and then throw it back to the other side, but here it's really TSM doing that. Cloud9 waited till almost the bottom of the clock to lock in Renekton and Leona, whereas TSM locked very quickly right here. I feel like Cloud9 may have been taken a bit by surprise by the first pick LeBlanc. I think they were expecting TSM to go with something different there. Maybe they thought they were going to first pick Leona or something along those lines.
Maybe the Gragas, that's still left out as well. They could have anticipated that. It does look like they are considering, though, how do we stop this roam now? Bjergsen's going to be everywhere.
I also really wonder if Hai's going to break out the Yasuo. He would have until the very last pick.
He has 1 win.
Yasuo can do very well in lane to block a lot of LeBlanc's spike damage if he's incredibly reactive with his wind wall. Oh, the Zed.
Second Zed play coming in for Hai, and Sneaky chooses to lock in Ezreal once again.
Well, these guys have practiced against each other so much and kind of leveled up each other's play off of it. Anyone knows how to play Zed. It's one of these 2 guys in North America. That'll be a very fun, dodgy battle.
Yeah, I was going to say, very blink heavy if you want to get yourself around into secretive positions or out of a sticky situation. Mundo Annie is the lock-in we see coming from the side of TSM. 2 lanes that they are very familiar with.
Yeah, so the Caitlyn Annie lane coming in, it's a very common lane. Can sometimes chain the Annie stuns with a Caitlyn trap. Wonder now they're going to be going against Leona Ezreal. This means that Cloud9 gets to pick their jungler. I think it would just be the Lee Sin to continue.
3 in a row.
But they are rather low on magic damage. I wonder if Meteos has something up his sleeve, if he would throw back to like a Jungle Eve or something.
Oh, man.
Even though Diamond very recently did the Blade of the Ruined King, like Tank Eve, which is Absolutely.
Which is Diamond.
Or if they actually want to do a jungle Zed and completely mess with TSM, but magic damage from Fiddlesticks, of course.
I almost said that was going to go somewhere, then I forgot they picked Leona. So it is in the jungle. We're going to see Meteos going in on this. We've seen tank, we've seen damage. This will be damage.
I believe he played Fiddlesticks in Battle the Atlantic and was victorious with it against Fnatic. So he has played it in a very high-pressure game before. It is the magic damage that Cloud9 really needs. And for once, Cloud9 can kind of rely on Lemon Nation a bit more to do the initial initiation, so that Fiddlesticks can then combo on top of it with his Fiddlesticks ultimate. During Battle of the Atlantic, I believe they comboed it with a Thresh, so it was a little bit easier for him to get in. There is a little bit of disengaged danger from TSM on this one, but these lineups look pretty stacked for both sides.
Very interesting. I like what we have as the teams load into the Rift. Let's check out who you think is going to end the week in sole possession of first place. According to LOLesports.com, 72% of you think that Team Solo Mid will walk away with the win today.
And remember, 8 games Cloud9 has defeated TSM.
Yes.
Obviously, there is a lot of confidence behind this TSM team with Bjergsen. When they lost to Cloud9, they're only 0-1 with Bjergsen on their side. They were a new team now.
Well, both of these guys have the home court advantage, but you can hear who has the bigger one.
Yeah, TSM always with the most vocal fan base. It was a huge boon for them back in Season 2 when they dominated the North American online or offline tournament circuit. Cloud9 has gotten a lot of fan support thus far, but obviously they have not eclipsed TSM's fan base yet.
So loading into this game, just a quick pick to touch on. Sneaky's Ezreal again. Kind of saw him doing the Blade of the Rune King, Infinity Edge, mix-up build.
Absolutely.
See if he goes to it again. He does have to face a Mundo once more.
That was a very interesting build by Sneaky and very effective.
Keep an eye on.
Blade of the Rune King to Last Whisper on Ezreal, just to take out tanks.
Here it is, chat. Everybody has been waiting for it. The guacamole and chips and dip are ready for TSM versus Cloud9.
I feel like if I went to watch a League of Legends game, I wouldn't want to wear a mask. Those two guys having fun.
A horse or an eagle mask. I'd be an eagle though.
Yeah, me too.
I think the horse is just it's flooded the population. There's too many horses. Hooses. There you go.
Horse.
Oh, we got like a clap going on for TSM here. This is like Morse code TSM.
All right. You can tell everyone's been waiting the whole day for this one. This is the big game of the day, Riv.
It is. It is. Meteos is going to start it with a ward, too.
Ooh. Well, obviously, knowing he has Drain on Fiddlesticks, he doesn't need the extra.
That's some dedication.
Still going. He doesn't need the sustain of health potions. I wonder if he's just going to bypass his Spectral Wraith jungle item as well. There's a very real possibility he's just going to rush his Anya's Hourglass.
This positioning is very interesting so far. Are they going to 2v1 Bjergsen in middle? Leona's hanging up out top. Cloud9 slowly waiting this one out.
I'm not sure why Cloud9 does this, but they often position.
It is usually sneaky. Yeah.
They pretty much always position their AD carry in the mid lane. And I think it's if they want to react to any lane swaps, it is easier for them.
Right.
Because High is generally not going to go anywhere but the mid lane, so they can always rotate him up, and then that means they could rotate their AD carry and support anywhere else they want. So by going in that configuration, they can meet any demands that they actually want to hit.
And you are correct, sir. Looks like we are going to have High moving up towards that mid lane. They do not have anything they need to adapt to just yet. It's going to be the solid 2v2 in the bot lane and the regular mid. This is the matchup we wanted to see, though, especially High Bjergsen. And then our matchup of the day here, Meteos and Oddone in the jungle as we started off.
Yeah, and we get to see a jungle Fiddlesticks. Meteos, the only guy to play this split over North America. And Tendudex played a little bit of jungle Fiddlesticks back in Season 3. He was tank Fiddlesticks, though. It's pretty clever.
It worked out. Played it in more than one game.
Yeah.
I believe they found the victory with it in more than one occasion. What is kind of the pressure you see out of a Fiddlesticks? He's not just going to come flying out into the lane.
Yeah, a lot of it is just the fear of fear when he comes in. It used to be a lot longer. Look at that aggression early.
Oof, almost hits the double Q as well with the Shadow. Bjergsen's now going to have to play a little safe.
Yeah, Fiddlesticks also brings a lot of disabling. If you can find the right silence bounce, it's probably the most underrated part of Fiddlesticks. How many people he can shut down in the team fight. Like, even if he's not ulting and getting good initiation, if Meteos can land a fear onto Bjergsen and then combo with a silence, they can burst him down in a team fight when he decides to come in.
Not bad. It actually looks like he dipped right from blue to red as well on his Fiddle run.
Yeah, Fiddle's the type of champion who can do that. So that's why he didn't hit level 3 quite yet, but he doesn't care. He's just trying to have his own unique type of jungle routes. Yesterday when we were watching him play Lee Sin, you could tell he'd put a lot of forethought into his jungle pathing. One of the games he even didn't have his blue, and he still didn't fall behind in the jungle.
Right.
Meteos definitely prepares his jungle routes more optimally than most junglers would.
Yeah. And when you say it was the same route, it was literally down to a T, even in his ward placement on the invades. So he knows what he wants to do, even if he gets deterred from the path. He'll stay straight on it.
Yeah, right now, these junglers are reading each other's minds. Meteos came because he thought that Odd One would be in that brush, therefore he warded. But before that happened, Odd One had warded over the wall because he thought Meteos would be there. In each other's heads.
Yeah, and it's really kudos to Meteos. He's going to have to, he doesn't really have the counter gank ability. He sits on the outside, and they're going to watch him walk in. So to have the wards there and not have to really show himself is very good for his position right now.
Fiddlestick's ganks are not that good,
yeah,
but they're also oftentimes just completely underrated. It's not like he has no impact whatsoever. Having just a ranged auto attack with red buff is sometimes enough to secure a kill.
So true. 4 minutes into the game. We'll see if any of those get transferred in the bottom lane. Not to be soon. The junglers will back, so we don't see the use of any of those buffs just yet. We'll see what those first buys come to be as this bottom lane shows 6 favor CS for Wild Turtle.
Yeah, at the moment, Caitlyn Annie just outranging them on both accounts. Annie, longest auto attack range of any support in the game at 625 against a Leona, who is a melee champion. So unless Cloud9 wants to kind of commit into TSM, they're basically stuck just getting harassed down little by little.
Meteos backing, prioritizing a pink ward already so they can start to gain control of the map quite early.
Yeah, heavy warding by Meteos, which is rather interesting on Fiddlesticks. He's basically just going to be farming until level 6, I think. So it increases the priority that Cloud9 has on Vision. They do not want the Odd One to swing a lane as important as mid, which is where Odd One's going to be going. Let's not make any mistakes about it. So therefore, Cloud9 and Meteos specifically wants to keep High safe with wards, since he can't necessarily keep him safe with jungle presence.
Meteos already picking up that sweeper as well, possibly thinking he'll hit 6 out on this run, give him a little more of an advantage with that ultimate to get in.
We'll have to see. These guys definitely feeling each other out so far. Top lane is our first visit. Ball's not really pushing in Dyrus too well, but has the small advantage that one would expect in a Renekton lane. And surprisingly, Meteos is running up to the top lane. He's actually trying to predict a Vi gank from the Odd One here, but he's not going to find it.
They have a good push on the lane, so it would be a nice read. But like you said, there's no worry for Dyrus, so the Odd One will not be there to have the
he's
gank.
Found the pink ward. That is big right there. Meteos thought that pink ward would last a very long time, but Odd One decided to ward that brush, and he gets rid of it.
Very nice job by Odd One, giving himself a little bit of a power play there on the pink ward purchase. We see Dyrus getting pressured back to the lane. This will call Odd One to the top lane. Everybody's fending for themselves right now.
Yeah, very interesting move there.
Wow.
By Meteos to just walk up. He was basically trying to make Odd One show himself. A little bit of miscalculation there where he would have been.
Great calm play by Dyrus. Got to give him credit there for not going too hard on the kill. Would have got himself killed. And the first blood is still yet to be had as we approach 7 minutes. These teams giving each other quite a bit of respect in the lanes as Bjergsen tries to force out high, but he goes in. Counter. He gets them right back to his shadow, goes for the death mark. It does not spike enough damage with the ignite stopping.
Well, that was interesting to say the least. We knew that mid lane was going to be all about the kill. As soon as Bjergsen's silence chain had ran off on high, he decided to counterattack, but just not quite enough. I think one more auto attack and high could have had him, but Bjergsen made his retreat. That's just some mechanics in mid lane on both ends.
I have to see if the ignite is actually used from Bjergsen, and Odd One here. High's everything is down. Still a slippery champion. That could be a focus.
Yeah, this means High actually has to play on his back foot for quite a while now. If all the Odd One does is just like flash into ultimate range, High is most likely dead, as long as that happens before High's death mark comes back up. And they might just try and rotate right now. Meteos needs to do his best to get in position that he can protect that and fear it off with a Fiddle ult.
This is going so great for both teams right now. The farm is almost identical in every lane. There's a bit of a discrepancy there in the top lane and just a few farm between the AD carries, but these are the two top teams, and it's going to play out like this through the game, the entire game.
we're all expecting a very close game. This has definitely been a slightly slower start than we may have expected. I think that comes from Meteos picking Fiddlesticks. It slows down the early game for the most part. He is now waiting and just hoping to get a Fiddle ult off for a counter gank right now. But the mid lane gank just isn't coming. I think one of the reasons this game is so slow is there's a huge mind game going on right now between Meteos and the Odd One, trying to catch each other ganking the mid lane, since Cloud9 knows how mid lane focused TSM has become.
Yeah.
And Meteos just wants to catch the Odd One trying to help. He may have done it here, though.
See what they can get themselves into. Hiding just off in the wing. That's a level 6 Meteos. They're going to get the fear down. The silence goes out. There may not be enough damage here on the follow-up, but that could be enough for Dragon.
Yeah, Meteos deciding not to ult there. Instead, just drain and force the flash away from the Odd One. That will help High not get ganked, because Odd One can no longer pull off the flash, assault, and battery. So I'd just say the mind games continue so far. Still no big set of action, but that mind game goes to Meteos, which means now Cloud9 may have an opportunity to make a play.
Well, Jad, it's no coincidence that these two teams are in first place. They're the biggest scrim partners for each other. They know what each other do. They're giving each other a lot of respect, and they know the game could swing at any point in time. This will help Cloud9 a little bit in that favor. Yep,
very tactical Dragon right there by Cloud9. Darius actually burned a teleport, I believe, I think he just used it to get back to the top lane. I could be wrong on that one, because Balls had cycled down for a potential Dragon TP. Ooh, if he picks up that red buff, it might give him the ability to bully a little bit, because Meteos doesn't necessarily need it. That's a very smart buff transfer, in a sense, to the top laner.
Gonna lock down this bottom lane. Sneaky is a little behind in CS, being forced to back here. So this, if Wild Turtle stays, he is going to get a bit more of an increase on that lead. Sneaky is not going for the Blade of the Rune King build just yet, though.
No, looks like he's going regular Bloodthirster. Doesn't need as much elusiveness in this game, or Blade of the Rune King would just end up killing him. You can see that ward spot, the Odd One loves to control that spot. Second ward he's placed there, just spotted Meteos. I wouldn't be too surprised, actually, if Meteos asks High to pink ward that brush again to get rid of the Odd One's ward, just because these guys really seem to be in each other's heads right now.
Sneaky with a pink.
He's going to cleaver over the wall to try and check.
Oh, man.
No, he didn't.
Slowly. A lot of patience here coming in, and it has to be when you play Fiddlesticks.
Yeah. Never really know where he's going to be. He can theoretically ult over that wall and try and get something crazy, but he's just kind of backing off because they don't have eyes on the Odd One at the moment.
Yep. There's always the rule of thumb that you should consider someone is in the bush every time, and even more so with the Fiddlesticks, because it's going to mean an instant 0 on your HP.
So these guys still feeling each other out. Let's take a bit of a look at the items. Brutalizer completed onto High, and also double Thorns for Bjergsen. So while Bjergsen hasn't went like a full Seekers for defense, the double Thorns is respect in itself to have the little bit of extra health. Both those guys are fairly vulnerable. Lemonation might go hard.
A very nice ultimate there. Solar Flare goes down as well as a True Shot Barrage. Can they finish out Wild Turtle, though? Xpecial to the back line, stopping a good amount of damage. Sneaky, very low. Xpecial, no flash. No, he just uses it all. Wild Turtle's Peacemaker. First blood on the long range.
And they might continue. They're trying to take with Timbers. They can't get the double. Wow, Rick.
Lines it up in the sniper shot for first blood.
That was a perfect example of how to stop a Leona as an Annie. You don't go for the Leona, you go for the AD carry. So Lemonation gets trapped in there by himself. Xpecial just finishes him off, and the Timbers are just beating on Sneaky that whole time. Dive top!
And they're beating on Dyrus in the top lane. He gets hit up. The attacks go down from the turret. Balls makes it out alive.
Action reaction right there from Cloud9 and TSM. Meteos knows he can get that ultimate off on Dyrus. They've been working so well with Balls this week. They're trying to get him going. Instead of playing into the mind game of everyone ganking mid, Meteos heads top lane, gets a kill, and they can even out the turrets.
We shouldn't expect anything different from the two best teams in the league. I expect a lot of this gameplay to be mirrored. A nice death mark. He can't follow up on too much damage. The Ignite's there. But again, it just doesn't equal the amount of health he needs.
Nearly enough, but once again, yeah, High burns both of his summoner's spell. Very nice move as he ulted as Bjergsen was trying to go in on him to dodge the damage, meaning Bjergsen couldn't attack back. But at the same time, High could not secure the kill. Therefore, he probably shouldn't have burned everything to go in that far. Now he is down summoner spells and also down health.
There's that Wild Turtle Peacemaker. Did pick up first blood as he comes up behind in mid with Xpecial now. Bjergsen may start some type of roam, or he may just go ahead and join Wild Turtle and Xpecial back in mid.
Yeah, now the rotations, I think, begin for TSM. The Caitlyn, Annie will definitely try pushing in a whole bunch. Sneaky not necessarily pushing the bottom lane, more so farming. So there is a rotational advantage for TSM right now. Knowing that they also harassed High back, it's very difficult for Cloud9 to hold this. Who is going to clear the wave? Leona? No. Fiddle? No. They're going to get a lot of damage.
Yeah, they're going to be able to use this. They got 3 long range. Although it's not doing too much damage, it is going to force Leona to have to go pretty much for broke if they want to engage on this one. And the turret's there for TSM. They don't want anything more.
Yeah, they got a decent chunk of damage. They're going to be back to that one fairly soon. The next point of contention is going to be this dragon. It's going to happen in about a minute and a half. I think Balls is very much wanting to hit level 11. He's 10.5 right now. If he can get level 11 before this next fight, I think Cloud9 could absolutely control that zone. And this dragon is also more valuable than the last one. And the game is tactical as this one. A small Goldie like that can pay huge rewards.
Small Goldie right now is in favor of Wild Turtle. That kill, the Bloodthirster already charging. So the ace in the hole, a better finisher now than it was before. Sneaky's actually going to start stacking his. He just purchased that. So again, these guys are staying very mirrored across the board except for what we just saw.
I'd have to say, every member of Cloud9 has actually purchased a pink ward at this point in the game.
That's a good point.
More damage coming down on the mid lane. They're definitely trying to get some of TSM's wards out, so Lemonation can roam and get some good ults off. Also, because Fiddlesticks is more ward reliant than most other junglers. Whereas Vi can brute force a gank through a lane if she does like a flash vault breaker, Meteos cannot. They need the pink ward control so that he can find positions to attack.
Teleport is up onto Dyrus. Looks like we have...
Here comes the dragon control.
Wait for the defense on mid turret, but you're right, it is going to trickle down towards the dragon, and the pink ward is going to be able to be taken out here. And Cloud9 is going to set themselves up.
Yeah, they're going to want to go straight on this because Dyrus is pushing the top lane as quickly as possible. They're going to be daring TSM to come in. There's the initiation!
Oh, the flash vault breaker going in from the odd one, and then he does the assault and battery, but he is in a 2v1. Down to the bottom of the screen, they're trying to zone out the entire team with the Crow Storm, and coming in with balls, got him with the true shot barrage. It's going to be a walk away for High. It's going to be Dragon.
And the rest of Cloud9 just walked towards TSM, and they had to retreat. It is now a 5v3 near the Dragon. TSM trying to take the mid turret as compensation. I think they'll get it.
This is going to be good for them. That was a very interesting initiation to be going in onto High. Did not work out for TSM, and they got to rethink that one as Cloud9 pulls a bit in the lead.
I would love to see the other side of that fight where Cloud9 just walked through the majority of TSM, but it was really just not wanting to deal with the Fiddle ultimate and the Renekton ultimate, just pushing the rest of TSM back. I'd say the odd one got a little antsy with that initiation. There was no follow-up there because they had to watch out for everyone else. Watch Balls, Lemonation, and Meteos all fly in over top of Xpecial. Turtle and Bjergsen could not counterattack, which then meant on the backside, Cloud9 could finish off the rest of them. A very crisp zone control fight there by Cloud9.
Very interesting. They even saw Meteos taking out the pink ward just before the engagement. Odd one wants a little bit more. Gives a quick punch to Lemonation, and they back out of this engage. Looking at Lemonation, actually hasn't built up that coin to the talisman whatsoever, but the Moby boots keep everything, or sorry, Xpecial.
Yes.
Keep the Moby boots running.
He's going to be trying to just get in stun rate at that point, whereas Lemonation hasn't been going for the gold generation whatsoever. He's really worried more about just getting tank stance as quickly as possible and then trying to get the gold off of objectives and kills. So far, so good for him because they have controlled both dragons.
And with Cloud9 slightly taking a lead here, we see sweepers being used a bit more. TSM has not made that transfer over just yet, but that also is catalyst for that Fiddle.
Yes, it speaks to the Fiddlesticks and the importance that Cloud9 is putting on vision denial, almost more so than vision acquisition right now. It is more important that Fiddlesticks is not seen than Fiddlesticks sees where the enemy is. Therefore, 3 sweepers this early, despite not having huge map control.
This little play by Wild Turtle. He's getting as much aggression in as he can this game. He actually, earlier in the mid turret, walked right in front of Lemonation and taunted him. Yeah,
and he's definitely showing the rewards in the CS column right there. 175
highest in the game
to 136. So fantastic farming from Wild Turtle. But now the split push begins from High.
We just saw Bjergsen Even doing a little bit of roam of his own, putting on that hard hat and getting in the jungle, but this allows High to be in the bottom lane. They're trading back a little bit of global gold there.
This map is going to be opening up a fair bit now, which makes the ward control even more important. Top turret down for TSM,
One in the other.
Exactly. At the moment, it seems like High is stronger than Bjergsen, and Renekton is stronger than Dyrus. Right now, it looks like it's Cloud9's time to try and make an aggressive move as they push mid.
Yeah, sneaky Meteos on one side with Lemon Nation the support on the back, and I like what Cloud9's doing. They're not just putting everything up front. They have High on the side, trying to do a bit of pinching.
All right, 3 turrets on both sides. The map is about as open as it gets in the mid game here because the gold is even. These games can go in almost any direction once you get to this point. There's much more open field now, so if anyone tries to push lane, it's inherently more dangerous. Team fights also stretch longer because there's nowhere for people to run away. And whoever makes the next move, it just means it's even more swingy because then you're taking down second-tier turrets and so on. So these are always very interesting games when they reach this point.
Looks like the entire map is getting warded up right now. Neither team is letting that go to waste. We see the pink wards still coming out, both from the Odd One and Meteos, but Cloud9 actually has more members buying up pink wards than just the jungle.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Blade of the Rune King's going to be trying to get finished by High as well. Zhonya's rush was in fact what happened on Meteos.
Yeah.
No surprise there.
A little bit more potential to get in the fights and be danger.
Yeah. Mainly so he can put himself in silly situations and let the rest of his team follow up, which is kind of what Cloud9 excels on sometimes.
See if he can make those plays. I haven't really seen a Crow Storm be the change of a fight yet. They were able to get a good engagement down onto Dragon, but it wasn't a full fight of both 5v5.
Just TSM running away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A little bit of a turn tail. 20 minutes into the game, a 2,000 gold, 1.6 actually, so we're not up to that amount just yet, but it's still close enough to be completely anyone's game. The Deathfire Grasp soon to be finished on Bjergsen, and that's when we start seeing him get those kills.
Yeah, something that's going to get more and more interesting too, Riv, is whether or not Cloud9's affinity for sweeping lenses hurts them because they're still open to getting picked off by the Odd One and Bjergsen. And even X Special. It's not like TSM doesn't have pick potential in their team composition as well, but it is Cloud9 that is sacrificing wards so they can get rid of TSM wards. There's a lot of fog on this map right now because all the wards are really getting killed by Cloud9 and not placed by Cloud9, so that TSM doesn't need to sweep them.
Interesting pink ward placement after the mid turret goes down. Cloud9 really owning their own half of that bottom jungle.
Yeah. Well, they want to control that area for the next dragon fight.
Right.
Many places for Fiddlesticks to hide.
Very good point, and we will see where Meteos is. He's seen by a ward right now. You see he takes a bit of a different path than the team, and they know that he takes a different path. The Zhonya's comes out, and they waste a good bit, but is it going to be worth? They turn around the fight once again, and it's deja vu in the same spot. Who's going to turn tail on this one? TSM has already lost X Special.
Yeah, the answer is it's not worth it to go in and try and stop that Zhonya's, because that's exactly why he wanted to complete it, so he can be in bad situations and still let his team capitalize on that. X Special flash to get the initiation, but then had no retreat, and Meteos' team went to back him up.
Always having this man down. TSM keeps adapting. They say, we did lose something, but let's try to move, and they go for top.
Yeah, this is a good move because they know that Cloud9 would want to cycle around the dragon anyway, so they can then trade an inner turret for a dragon, which, if you're actually picking, would you do this normally? The answer is generally yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Team Solo Mid keeping their head in the game, making sure that gold stays relatively close, and High is going to do what he can to push the mid lane. There's so many things that Cloud9 is prioritizing, but they're able to do them at the same time.
Yeah, these guys not necessarily fighting each other, but definitely trading a lot of map resources. Finishing this turret might not be possible. It's very dangerous for us.
Oh, he gets locked up. He didn't expect Bjergsen to be there, and it's going to be big damage as High goes down.
So overstaying is welcome so he can finish the turret. He would not have finished the turret if he didn't fall back. Now, overall, the gold gain from the turret is greater than the death, but the question is, what does TSM do while High is down? They are now gaining control of the Baron Pit. That is very hard territory to fight over, and Cloud9 loses it because of the death.
That ace in the hole to start. Oh, the Solar Flare
they
goes
get the
down
stun.
behind, but Lemon Nation not in a good spot. The chain goes out. The burst could be there from the second hit of Bjergsen. He goes for it, and it's going to be the odd one to pick it up. Good positioning now for where they are.
All right, that takes out another kill, and that's all because High was dead. Sure, Cloud9 could have fallen back more, but they needed to have safety near that Baron area. Let's see how long Cloud9 continues to reel off of that chain of events.
The dominoes slowly falling here in favor of TSM. They get a few more kills in their favor. That 2,000 gold deficit still is ticking on the back.
As far as Cloud9 goes, TSM is doing Baron right now.
Do it, Baron, but there's Turtle coming up. Whoa, it's going to be the Zanyas.
No
and he
flash
just
left,
walks
though.
this one up. It's going to be enough to pop him down. Meteos will not be a factor in the next engage.
That's one more for TSM. They continue to capitalize off of this chain of events. Now Cloud9 is trying to push mid. TSM could very well secure this Baron.
That turret is very low in the mid lane from High previously.
They see it now.
Going to be able to take it down. It looks like they will go for Baron. 16 seconds on Meteos.
Bjergsen is low. He is going back. This could be a 3v4 in the Baron pit. TSM may have to fall back. It's getting very antsy here.
The smite is going to be up here, coming in for the
They
odd
wanna
one.
focus
They
the
go
odd
into the Baron pit. Bjergsen has to put himself outside as the passive gets worn off. Odd one grabs it up, and it looks like Lemon Nation and Balls are going to try to do what they can. Dyrus and Sneaky having a 1v1 tit for tat. Odd one out of the brush, out of the Baron pit, I should say, and they're trying to keep Baron alive on them.
So they do have the Baron buff, but how many people are going to lose it? Odd one is still on the run. He's going to try and hop over the wall, get away.
Bjergsen finds Dyrus, or Bjergsen and Dyrus, I should say, find High, and he gets out of that one alive. Everybody limping away from this one. Still a slight engagement here going on between Balls and the odd one. He has that Baron regen. A quick shield to put it on. Here comes Leona. Lemon Nation from the side. He gets the vault breaker over the wall. The rest of the team still trying to fend them off.
And the fight just goes on and on with how long will TSM run away?
Looks like this could be it. I mean, there's a blue buff. Somebody might want the blue buff,
They got
chat.
the cleaver.
But the Baron is still taunting them. That buff is just going to crush Cloud9 if they stay here. There's too much regen on TSM.
Oh dear, so that was a lot of cascading events that happened off of that one. It was good of TSM to focus the Baron and take the results afterwards. They did not lose many turrets, they did secure the Baron, and they only focused one death. Overall, good job by TSM.
So breaking things down here and slowing them down a little bit. We take a look at that jungle matchup, a Rumble in the jungle, a Fiddlesticks versus a Vi, and it's Meteos is being focused now. He's not getting enough time to ult.
Well, if the team is scattered, then Fiddlesticks doesn't necessarily have setup time. It's not so much about him being focused, it's that TSM just caught him in bad positions.
Right.
You know, Odd One is using his assault and battery very much on him, and he's an absolute priority as far as that goes. One thing to note, actually, is when a Mundo has Baron buff, it's a little bit ridiculous, because not only does he get health regen based on his max health from his passive,
Yes.
Baron health regen by nature is also based off your max health. So it kind of doubles in the sense, since
all those
Mundo
numbers.
always builds so much max health in general, he just takes it to absurd proportions once he gets that Baron buff.
It's kind of like a Baron and a half.
Yeah.
Works out nice.
You can just leave your W on once you have Baron buff on Mundo, and you will not leave full health.
Get down at the AD carries. We see Wild Turtle really consistently in this type of aggressive play. Wins the lane at 1-0 and 2, and he is 60 CS above his lane.
Wild Turtle going to be hitting that last Whisper pretty soon. He's going to want to cut through balls. That'll be a very, very interesting duel if they can find clean initiations. But just based off the way TSM found that last fight, you know, these teams aren't the type of teams that just agree to fight 5v5. They're always going to be looking for that slight edge. Cloud9 tried to get the turret, took one death. What did that lead to? It led to a complete chain of events. It meant Lemon Nation got caught on top, which meant that Meteos then had to check. Then he died, which made the Baron fight, which made the push mid. It's not like they're just agreeing to meet in these places. It's always an action and an adequate reaction.
Yeah, there were 3 people, like you said, that went down off of that. TSM is controlling the map very well with communication and movement. They're just not looking for champion kills here. There's actually not a lot of those to be had in the game just yet. Blade of the Rune King has been finished, obviously on high for a while, but that's where he's been sitting because of this Hex Drinker coming in. Obviously the Brutalizer for the cooldown, but Bjergsen gave him a hard time in lane.
Yeah, the gold froze a little bit for Cloud9 recently with all the action TSM was doing. They haven't had much time to farm when dealing with this Baron buff. Flash initiation!
There it is, again onto Meteos! Forced to use the Zanyas, and he's not on Crowstorm. Goes down instantly. A huge amount of DPS is consistently being lost.
If Meteos gets caught out at the edge of these fights, Cloud9 will not win this game.
A pick that does not seem to be working in their favor. The crowd still very much so behind TSM as they were in the beginning, and it's helping them pull ahead.
Yeah, and with High going now to try and take a Dragon, they are fully conceding this inhibitor to TSM. They do not want to fight it any longer and create another chain reaction.
28-minute inhibitor, a little bit quicker than I thought would come from this game, but we still could go into the late game. This is going to be going down, but they are fully rushing down here for High. He's going to Shadow, get safety.
Shadow's just been used. They know where he is. They're going to be chasing him for a little while. Let's see how slippery High can become.
We'll see how much Cloud9 can work off of this if TSM decides to kind of tunnel run on him. If he can bide some time, they can get these lanes pushed, and Cloud9 could start getting them out of their base.
Side against it. Nice pathing by High to get out of there. And it's one of Cloud9's hallmarks, actually, that they... Going to have to lifesteal for a little while now. That Cloud9 can keep the gold even regardless of when they start making mistakes. Even though they suffered deaths and lost 2 turrets there, when they made the call to get the Dragon, it helped equalize the gold. They're only down 1,500 gold despite forfeiting a Baron and losing a couple team fights in a row.
Meteos kind of has to go into sneak mode now. Being seen pretty much means his death.
He's got to be much more careful about where the Odd One finds him. That jungle matchup has definitely trended towards the Odd One in the last few fights. First few fights, Meteos was out mind-gaming him. Nice wards, burned the flash on Odd One, controlled the dragons. And now that Meteos is having to use his Zanyas defensively while he's not channeling Crowstorm, has been very detrimental to Cloud9's overall success. Let's see if they want to go for a fight here, though.
A little weird on the positioning. Oh, the Talisman of Ascension. Can they find him?
Here
no.
comes.
Meteos is not ready, but he is going to be able to get the ult in this time. He comes in. The Crowstorm is in the fight now, and it's going to be pushing TSM back. They still drop 2 members immediately of Cloud9 with only a special going down in the fray.
So overall, a 1 fight by TSM. Let's see if they turn around now. Balls does not have too much longer on that Renekton ult.
That chain missing. Really, everybody's just looking for the next mistake here. Somebody to go outside of their boundaries, and it's not going to happen. Everybody plays it calm, gets their composure back, and we're going to get some wards cleared out.
So we really got to see there the resiliency of the TSM lineup. Even though Meteos did channel a fairly good ultimate inside with balls there, they couldn't get much damage out. High went all in on Wild Turtle, came up with nothing. The QSS stopped the death mark right as it went in. And that is a troubling fight for Cloud9. It actually tells TSM they could win this one. That was a close to ideal team fight for Cloud9.
Yeah.
And TSM still came out on top 2 for 1.
We got to see the Crowstorm, and it did not prove to be what we thought it would. The Quicksilver Sash bought out by Wild Turtle so he can keep himself safe from whatever Meteos tries to throw at.
Having 300 farm, 30 minutes on AD carry is quite high. Dyrus is going to be able to escape. Since he stole that blue buff, his ultimate's on a very short cooldown, 50 seconds more, and it'll be back up again. But the Baron is live.
See what Cloud9 can do. We kept hearing in the beginning of this game that everybody gave Cloud9 the stronger lanes.
Right.
And that was usually with Meteos helping them. He wasn't doing anything up until 6 this game, so it looks like TSM came stronger in the lanes this game.
Fiddlesticks is a slightly different pick, and also Wild Turtle did so well.
Yeah, really came out on top.
In lane against Sneaky Elimination. At this point, though, Cloud9 is put in a very awkward situation. Knowing that Dyrus' Mundo has a teleport up, normally the play to stop that is Cloud9 would go around Baron and then force him to come in. But since Cloud9 is the weaker team, they don't want to posture around Baron. So I think if TSM plays their cards right, they can either secure an inhibitor for Dyrus or a Baron for themselves. Cloud9 does not have a lot of good plays here to make.
It's got to be on their terms, and even when we saw it on their terms, it was still a stretch of a fight. They only got Xpecial because he threw himself so far into the back line. 3,000 gold lead has been accrued here. The Mikhail's Crucible is out, so
So
even
much.
whatever.
QSS on Bjergsen,
Yeah.
QSS there, and a fight in the Baron pit with Baron up.
There it goes. True Shot Barrage comes through. The Solar Flare. Meteos coming in from the backside. Can he get there? Odd one. Feared up. He's going to be taking a lot of damage, but Meteos goes down to the blink of an eye. Sneaky on the backside. Has to shift away, and he can't put DPS into the fight. Special goes back in with the flash, and the Ignite still up. Wild Turtle taking down Ezreal. High goes down as well. Team Solo mid. Almost ace C9, but take the Baron.
And the TSM chance coming out 4 for 0 right there for TSM in the cleanest fight they have had yet. With the Baron, they take a commanding lead in this game. 33 minutes in, they're going to look to push. Taking one more look at this fight, you can see Lemonition tried to go into the Baron because this was the best fight they were going to find. Meteos, though, gets exploded by Bjergsen. Watch this burst. Bjergsen is waiting for him. They stun him with Annie and burst him out. Everybody wanted to kill him before he could Zhonya's. At that point, since the burst was out from high, there was just no sustained damage left on Cloud9, and it's just cleanup from then on out.
A quick 1, 2, 3 punch. Jat, you pretty much said it. They can do whatever they want. They can dictate and drive the game to Baron.
Yeah.
Cloud9 bid it.
At that point, there were not too many options left for Cloud9. So good execution by TSM. And honestly, it's what Cloud9 had to try to do. Cloud9 is the better team in this situation.
That fight has just catapulted Team Solo Mid into a huge gold lead. 8,000 gold over Cloud9 right now. A swing that we did not expect to see in this game. We thought it was going to go straight neck and neck, but TSM is showing that they came very prepared for this matchup.
Yeah, and now that there's the big gold lead, you just kind of can see the team compositions really coming out of top for TSM. Mundo has substantially outscaled Balls' Renekton, Thornmail, and all versus heavy physical damage on Cloud9. Makes him almost unkillable because Meteos isn't going to be focusing Darius or doing damage.
No.
He's going to be trying to get fiddle ults on the rest of the team. So all Darius has to worry about is that armor. And then when you consider the relevancy of the rest of Cloud9, Wild Turtle and Bjergsen can think about killing whoever they want. They've built the QSS so that High is no longer a threat to them either. And their damage is sufficient because they're sitting on so much gold. 5 kills on both of the main damage dealers. The gold distribution could not be better right now for TSM.
504, 505, and a good 200 gold, almost 2,300 sitting on Wild Turtle. And you can see just how comfortable they feel being in the lane right now. He doesn't feel like he needs to spend it. There's too many opportunities to be had right now.
He's 3,500 gold ahead of everybody on Cloud9 right now. Just the farming he's been able to do. He's actually saving up for an Infinity Edge right now. Yeah. It would nearly cap off his build. But at the moment, since they have the Baron buff, and as we talked about, close to untouchable nature, they're going to want this one. Cloud9 may try to flank from the back and have one last fight. Here it comes.
Solar Flare, dead center of absolutely nothing. TSM is going to be able to pretty much waltz around this as they recuperate to what's going on. Oh, half health from one ace in the hole. That is not what you want to see coming down in damage.
Level 17 Wild Turtle means that thing hits pretty hard. It's hitting for 1,183 before armor is taken into account. Just the one spell. And that's before his Infinity Edge Riv.
The game has just seemed to slide in TSM's favor. We kind of said that there was slow picks for Cloud9 coming in after they saw the LeBlanc. Maybe they were not expecting that.
Well, Cloud9 needs to wait on the Leon Ultimate before they can try this again. They need the Leon Ultimate not to whip to have a chance, but they're going in before because they do not have the time.
That's the third time Turtle's been really close. He gets himself out with the flash. The Quicksilver as well is there to assist. They're trying to go in on this, but there's not much damage coming from Meteos. It's like the fight really wasn't engaged, but it is special, taking down Lemonation, and he is again in the forefront of the fight with the rest of the team. Balls is the one getting hit up. They're going to take him down and hit him right in the name. Sneaky goes down next. Meteos is on the board as well. The Zhonya's goes, but he goes down.
I think this is the game, Rib. That was another clean fight for TSM. You can see Cloud9 was not going to let TSM whittle them down. They went all in because it was the only chance they had. And now TSM is on the course.
An amazing game, Team Solo Mid. Going to take sole possession of first place over Cloud9. Give them their second loss of the season. And they're going to look to be 7-1 now in the spring split.